What's up, Denver Broncos family? Listen up to what I'm about to tell you. There are people disrespecting the Denver Broncos right now, saying we won't make it past the first round of the playoffs, that this team is no match for Baltimore or Buffalo. But guess what? Sean Payton just did something genius against the Los Angeles Chargers that most fans didn't notice. It wasn't just a conservative win. It was a master chess move, and I have the proof. That 19-3 score hides a brutal secret that could take the Broncos straight to the Super Bowl. And nobody's talking about it. I'm a diehard Broncos fan. I follow every play, every decision, every detail that happens at Mile High. And what Payton did in the last game of the regular season was pure genius strategy. Stick with me until the end, because there's a detail about Bo Nix and Nick Bonitto that's going to blow your mind. Let's be honest here. The game against the Chargers wasn't pretty. It was conservative, it was tight, it was frustrating for a lot of people who paid for tickets at Empower Field at Mile High expecting to see the Denver Broncos destroy the Los Angeles Chargers with 40 points on the board. There were fans booing at the end. Booing! After clinching the first seed in the AFC after securing 14 wins, tying the franchise record, people are complaining? But let me tell you something. Those people didn't understand anything that happened there. Zero. Nothing. Zilch. Sean Payton wasn't playing to win pretty. He was playing to win the Super Bowl. And the difference is huge. Check out the numbers. The Denver Broncos finished the regular season 14-3. First seed in the AFC, bye in the first round of the playoffs, 2 home games to get to the Super Bowl. Bo Nix tied Russell Wilson as the quarterback with the most wins in their first 2 years of a career. The defense is among the 2 best in the entire NFL. Nick Bonitto leads the league in sacks. Pat Surtain, too, is Defensive Player of the Year. And people are still doubting. The truth is, the Denver Broncos didn't need to show anything against the Chargers. Why? Because there's a huge chance we'll play them again in 2 weeks in the first round of the playoffs, and Sean Payton is too smart to hand over the playbook to Jim Harbaugh on a silver platter. You think it was a coincidence that Bo Nix ran more than he passed in the first half? It was on purpose. It was showing a card that forces opposing teams to plan against the quarterback run, but that's not our main play. It's a decoy. It's bait. It's Sean Payton thinking 4 plays ahead, like he always does. And there's more. History proves it. In 2006, when Payton won the Super Bowl with the New Orleans Saints, he lost the last game of the regular season on purpose, resting starters. New Orleans fans didn't boo. They understood. In 2009, same thing. In 2011, again. He got crushed by the Carolina Panthers in the last game and made it to the NFC Championship. Payton always does this when he has a strong team and wants to preserve them for the playoffs. And you know what? It works. So when I saw that conservative game, I wasn't frustrated. I smiled. Because I know what's coming. Now let's get to what really matters. What did Sean Payton do in that game that will be decisive in the playoffs? First, he solved the turnover problem. Throughout the season, the Denver Broncos committed more turnovers than they forced. That's statistically dangerous. You can have the best defense in the world, but if you hand the ball to your opponent, you lose games. Simple as that. And what happened against the Chargers? 3 forced turnovers. Jaquan McMillian intercepted a pass and returned it 45 yards for a touchdown. The first defensive touchdown for the Broncos all season. Nick Bonitto had a violent strip sack on Trey Lance. The defense devoured. And guess what? This isn't luck. It's preparation. It's focus. It's Sean Payton hammering into these guys' heads during the week. We need to force turnovers. And they delivered. Now imagine this happening in the playoffs. Imagine the Baltimore Ravens or Buffalo Bills having to play at altitude with 80,000 people screaming, and the Denver Broncos defense forcing 3 turnovers. It's game over. Done. There's no way to beat this team under those conditions. Second, the altitude will be decisive. I know everyone talks about this, but few understand the real impact. It's not just about getting tired. It's about not being able to think straight. It's about every snap being an extra effort. It's about the ball flying differently. It's about the noise being deafening. Sean Payton said that Empower Field at Mile High is the loudest open-air stadium he's seen in his entire career. And he worked at the Superdome, folks. That place is a giant speaker box. But Mile High, with Peyton Manning's crowd training before games, has become a fortress. In recent games, you can hear every word opponents say on the field. Every word. Because the crowd knows when to make noise and when to stay silent. This is high-level competitive advantage. And now, with 2 home games guaranteed, with the worst team in the playoffs coming here in the first round, with the altitude, with the crowd, with the defense playing like this, it's a massacre waiting to happen. Third, Bo Nix is just getting started. Let me tell you something about Bo Nix that few people noticed. He became the 3rd quarterback in NFL history to have over 3,500 yards and 25 touchdowns in each of his first 2 seasons. You know who else did that? Only 2 guys in the entire history of football, and he's 25 years old. In his first 7 games as a rookie, he struggled. Normal. It's the NFL. It's tough. But in the last 10 games and beyond, 24 touchdowns. Monster. In decisive fourth-quarter moments, Bo Nix is unstoppable. 7 touchdowns in the fourth quarter this season alone. 2 straight touchdowns against the New York Giants when the team was down 19-0. And you know what's most impressive? He does this under pressure, with 80,000 people screaming, with the game on the line, without flinching. This guy was made for the playoffs. And here's a detail. He spent the offseason training with Drew Brees and Tom House, a throwing mechanics specialist. No wonder he improved so much. It's not luck. It's work. It's dedication. It's wanting to be great. And he will be great. In these playoffs, you'll see. But wait. There's something I haven't told you yet, and this information is going to completely change how you see the Denver Broncos' next games. Before continuing, if you believe the Broncos are going to the Super Bowl, drop your like down below and subscribe to the channel. Let's hit 1,000 likes on this video because Broncos country is alive, strong, and ready to dominate the AFC. And answer me in the comments, which opponent do you want to come to Denver in the first round? Chargers, Bills, Texans, Ravens, Steelers? Now come back here because I'm going to tell you the secret about Sean Payton that nobody is talking about. Sean Payton knows exactly who will play against the Broncos in 2 weeks. I guarantee it. This guy is a tactical genius. He wasn't wrong when he said Bo Nix would be top 5 in several statistical categories. He wasn't wrong when he said this team would play playoff games at home. He wasn't wrong when he said we could compete for the Super Bowl. Payton is never wrong. And now he has an entire week of rest while other teams kill each other in the wild card games. A week to study, to adjust, to plan. While the Los Angeles Chargers, if they advance, will have to travel to altitude with only 5 days of rest, the Broncos will be rested, prepared, and hungry. Look at the details that make the difference. The defense, second best in the NFL. Led by Vance Joseph, who transformed this unit into a pressure machine. Nick Bonito with 14 sacks and counting. Pat Surtain 2, shutting down any receiver. Jaquan McMillian making defensive plays. This defense can carry the team to the Super Bowl. The offensive line, Garrett Bowles came back unscathed from the scare against the Chargers. This is crucial. Without him, the offense stops. With him, Bo Nix has time to make plays. The receivers, Cortland Sutton is having a phenomenal season. Troy Franklin is a missile. Marvin Mims Jr. is pure speed. And Lil Jordan Humphrey makes the tough catches in decisive moments. The ground game, J.K. Dobbins led the team in rushing even after getting injured in Week 10. Jaleel McLaughlin came out of Sean Payton's doghouse and is playing great. R.J. Harvey has a bright future. This team has everything to win. And you know what's best? The hunger. These guys went almost a decade without playoffs, almost a decade hearing that the Broncos were a joke, that the Peyton Manning era was over and we'd never get back to the top, that Russell Wilson destroyed the franchise. And now we have the best record in the AFC. Now we're favorites. Now the Super Bowl goes through Denver. And that hunger, that desire to prove to everyone that we were right, that we believed when nobody believed, that hunger is dangerous. ESPN analysts can doubt. YouTube experts can say we won't make it past the first round. Rival fans can laugh. But when this team steps on the field at Mile High, with 80,000 people screaming, with altitude-suffocating opponents, with Bo Nix commanding the offense and Pat Surtain, too, locking down the pass, it will be different, because this time, the Denver Broncos are ready. And there's one more thing. One thing I discovered about the next opponents that's going to change your perspective, but that's for the next video. If you made it this far, thank you. Seriously, you're real Broncos country. Now, do this. Like this video if you believe in the Super Bowl. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any playoff content. Comment below. What will be the score of the Broncos' first playoff game? Share with that friend who's still doubting the Broncos. And remember, it doesn't matter what others say. It doesn't matter how many experts doubt. It doesn't matter how many haters show up. The Denver Broncos are the #1 team in the AFC. We're at home, we're prepared, and we're hungry. The Super Bowl goes through Denver, and this time we're going. Broncos country, let's ride.